to show you today, or talk at least a bit about raising hogs and what the butcher process is like, the slaughter process. So these guys are probably hungry. Probably need some food. Probably need some apples. I'm going to turn the water off and get these guys some apples, and then I'll talk a little bit about how to get them off the slaughter here. You can see I have the trailer set up, but let me get them some apples, and then I'll talk some more. I'm under the apple tree here, and there's just tons of apples. And this is, I guess, a bit of a crab apple tree. Although I don't even know. I could eat these apples, but man, there's just loads of them. This is I just picked these up for the hogs. You can just see them all over the place. Great stuff. And you gotta pick them up regularly, otherwise they start getting bugs in them. So. There you go, piggies. All right, quickly talk about the slaughter process here. So I got. Alrighty, I keep getting interrupted, so I'll start over again here. Oh, pigs ate all the apples that I gave to them, and they're splashing me. So the pig slaughter process. So you can see here, I've got my trailer. I've got my nice little free pallet wood enclosure. That is plenty big enough for two of them, especially on the short trip to the slaughterhouse. So what I do is I put this tail down. It's really nice, obviously, to have a nice flat tail that you can drop down. And I actually take the hog panels off. I unclip them from the side of the hog house there, and I actually clip them just on the eye bolt here, so that this becomes part of the enclosure. Then what we do is we set the bed down, the ramp, and then I entice them up in there with some food. Now I set the trailer here the night before with the fence around it, so that they can get somewhat used to it being there, somewhat used to looking at it. Because if they're not used to looking at it, you may have a lot of trouble to get them on the trailer on the morning of taking them to the processing plant, the slaughterhouse. So from there, basically all you do is you just now you got to call them up ahead of time. Now the place that I get it from, they slaughter on Mondays and cut up the meat on, I think it's Thursdays. And the reason they do that is because they've got to slaughter the animal and then hang it up and let the blood run out, basically. And so they hang it up, from the legs upside down. After they, cut the jugular vein and let the blood run out. And then once it's chilled and all the blood is drained, then a couple days later, like I say, on the Thursday or whatever of the same week, they will they will go ahead and start cutting up the meat. And so you take them in on a Monday, you drop them off, they say thank you, you leave them, they're dead that day, they get slaughtered that day. And this guy making a mess of his drinking water. He's got all that water and mud right there, and he slops over in the drinking water. Anyways, so you drop them off Monday morning early at the place that I go to anyways. And Thursday they start cutting it, and this is the place where I got it done. They welcome me. They said I can come over and watch them cut up the meat if I want. But you usually call them, the Tuesday or the Wednesday after that to give them instructions on how to cut it up. How much of the pork do you want ground up? Do you want all the the ribs and stuff, ribs meat ground up into a big ball of ground pork, or do you want ribs, and do you want more roasts or more steaks, or whatever with the same piece of meat? You do want your bacon cut up and all that kind of stuff. And then you have to tell them whether you want some of it to go get smoked as well. There's another company that does the smoking for the bacon and the hams, and so they have to send those sections of meat out for another week or so for smoking. But you tell them that you take them to slaughter, and then the next day or so you tell them how you want it cut up and whether you want it smoked. And then on a Thursday you go back, and usually around lunch hour they've got all the cutting done. And you pay them the money, and you get a couple boxes full of pork with ribs and bacon. Although the bacon comes in just a big slab of belly pork basically. And you actually have to take it somewhere to get cut up, sliced up into bacon. But you get your hams, your ribs, your all that kind of stuff, your roasts and steaks and all that good stuff. So that's how you do it. It's a process that takes, like I say, about less than a week. Anyways, slaughter on Monday, and they're cut up on Thursday after they're done hanging. And if you're not getting it smoked, that may or may not add time to the process. For me, the smoked part, the bacon and the hams, they get shipped off to the smoking company, and they will get smoked for, I don't know if it's a week or 2 weeks or something like that. And that's it. And then you deliver your meat to your customers and whatever. And then you close up shop, and then you come back and clean up some of this mess, and then you're ready for next year. And then this is just my pretty, it's not flimsy, but I just have it tied down with tie straps, cargo straps. And it's literally 3 wood pallets on my flatbed trailer. 4 actually, there's one on the back. And this works just enough to get them to the slaughterhouse, and after that I set it aside and I don't use it anymore. So that is the process for slaughtering your hogs. If you didn't know the process there, that is kind of start to finish how it's done, and how I do it. So I hope this helps someone and gives them a bit more information on if you're interested in keeping hogs. It's not hard at all. There's a bit of manual work. You gotta feed them in the morning and feed them at night. But it's not any more work than chickens actually. They're actually less work than chickens, because as I say, especially if you got an automatic water bowl, which I do not have right now. I'll get that next year. If you have an automatic water bowl, it really makes it easy. And otherwise, these guys wander around looking for food all day. And I try and put them under the apple tree, which is up there. But of course they can't get to all. I need to get a couple more panels so that they have a bit more roaming space. Especially when they're this large, they grind up the land pretty quick, and it's all muddy now because it's been raining. It's not really been dry. But anyways, like I say, I hope that helps someone who's interested in getting into raising hogs. It's easy to do, easier than chickens, I think. You do need some equipment, such as the hog panels, a very strong house. You need a transport system of some sort. In this case, I'm just using a personal flatbed trailer, and that's really all you need. And then to pick up the meat, it's just a couple of boxes you can put in the back of your car, so no big deal there. And that is it. All right. One thing I should mention is that you need a good pair of rubber boots, because your rubber boots will get muddy and will smell like a hog farm in 0 time. And they do smell. It's not so bad where it smells up your whole property, but you have to be slugging through the mud every once in a while to rescue a hog, or to get a feed bowl they knocked over or whatever. So you need good rubber boots.